Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis updated commodities, work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs. That I follow. I'm going to interject my financial opinions as we go along. And if you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com where I dive deeper into all of these sectors, into potential investments, dividend paying stocks, and I share my opinions and my portfolio around all of that. We still have a discount coupon code Mayday, MAYDAY, that is still active. So let's dive in here and take a look at what is going on today, and I'll give you my financial opinions. So DXY, we were lower today. We are still above this trend line breakout. So things are still looking good for the dollar to continue higher. And even though we had a down day today, it still looks okay for that to eventually go sideways to slightly higher. Uh, Looking at yields, which is a major driver of the value of the dollar in relationship to other currencies, which is the DXY, we are seeing a little bit weaker yields today. And we still have this increasing wedge. Generally, when you've got a wedge that forms upward and you trade up, a lot of the times you break out, you do a retest, and then it rolls on over. Are we ready for a rollover? Are yields going to go up? This thing's been going back and forth the entire time. I would have said, yeah, we've got a breakdown here. We're going to go and come on back. But we continue to have strength in yields, and we've been holding up higher for longer. The 2 year yield does front run what the Fed does. Insiders will trade the 2 year before the Federal Reserve takes action on either raising or lowering the Fed funds rate. But we do have a downward yield day today. We're down about 0.92%. We're right on support, and we'll see if we get follow through out of this thing to the downside, or if we are going to continue in the pattern and work our way on up. 10 years down a little bit. It's not quite a bearish engulfing, but it's pretty close. So this can go in either direction. There's still buyers and sellers of bonds at this level in either direction. The 30-year is also doing that. So what you generally see is when you're coming to a bottom, the buyers start equaling the sellers, the rate of decline slows, it'll go sideways and then start to work its way on up. Right now, I'm looking at that from this viewpoint. Are we going to roll over? It doesn't look like that yet. Still looks good. And we could get a short-term sideways to slightly lower action. When things start to move back and forth in the short term, sometimes I just relax and I was like, all right, let's let this thing just play out. It may take weeks or months to play out. If I was trading, I would not be trading this. It's not a good setup yet. You have to wait for it to kind of break in either direction. A good setup here, in this location, this location, this location, as these things squeeze up and move. We don't really have that setup at this time where we're squeezing up. If anything, we've got a fall down move where this could potentially head lower in a rising channel. So right now we're in this rising channel and I was looking for a breakdown. It has not occurred yet, and we are still holding on with yields across the board. The 10-year, the 30-year, even the 2 year still holding on at this time. TYX TNX ratio up a little bit. So the yield curve's uninverting today, but we're doing that from a really low level. We have a long way to go for that yield curve to uninvert whenever that does occur. That's generally good for precious metals. TLT, which is bond prices, up 1%. Not a convincing bounce yet. So I would still say sideways to slightly lower is still intact until we turn around this short-term momentum, which we have not done yet. And then the 2 and 10 were back at support. There's the bounce on support, and we'll see if that support holds, and we potentially could stay inverted for even longer. Gold up $21 an ounce. Not a bad day today, but again, guys, we've got this big selling pressure move. It's a small bounce, so that could be a flag pattern or a continuation pattern in the short term. That's what I've got so far. Silver down a little bit, 3.4%. Um, this can be really volatile though, and it can move in either direction very quickly. All of what I would be doing here is nothing. I do nothing here. We've broken to the upside, and we're just kind of waiting for this to work its way on up. And generally, it does it very quickly. So these pullbacks or consolidations can be brief and quick before another leg higher. Platinum also down a little bit today. We're right at resistance support. That's what we're trying to break through, is that guy right there. I do think this is a really good setup for a potential move to the upside. We're waiting for yields to drop and that yield curve to uninvert. And palladium down a little bit today, down 2.85%. And we're just basing out. Give it time. It's going to need some time. And this very well could dip further below that support level for a period of time, which would be a great opportunity if it does do that while platinum rips it to the upside. XAU to gold ratio, gold and silver mining companies outperforming gold, and gold, it was up 0.92%. So I think this looks fantastic for gold and silver mining companies to RIP it here, rip it. Broken the downtrend. I'm bullish. We all need to be bullish here on gold and silver mining companies. CRB index moving sideways. No updates there. We've got the CRB to S&P 500 moving up, which means the S&P 500 was down today, which it is. And I'm looking for an outperformance here soon of commodities versus the S&P 500. So GDX is up 0.9, about 1%. Doesn't look too bad. It looks like the consolidation here is kind of squeezing up a little bit. We have support right underneath us. GDXJ is doing the same thing, kind of doing a little squeeze up here. Maybe we can get a little bit of a pop higher tomorrow and bust us out of this. We're also below this resistance line going across too. So we're underneath resistance. We're consolidating, and we're consolidating potentially into some tip here. We could see resolution of that consolidation hopefully sometime soon. And SILJ also higher. You can see that we're kind of squeezing up there as well. So we're squeezing up in all of them. Crude oil doing a retest today. Question mark. Is that a retest? We ready to go up? We'll find out tomorrow. Someone had responded on Twitter that they had put this in here. They're like, well, what about this? And it's like, it doesn't look that great. I would say that would be the case if you had strong selling pressure here, but we don't. We have weak selling pressure, and any time where you have the candlesticks that are smaller and fit inside of these green ones, these bigger green candlesticks. Generally, they work their way on up. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to be right 100% of the time. We very well could pull back down here. And all I would do is just wait. I would wait longer because we're sitting on top of the big pattern here. Big pattern, 1, 2, 3 consolidation to break out. We're consolidating on top, which makes me think we're going up. But we could pull back down, somewhere there before heading higher. That very well could be the case. But I would remain bullish the entire time. No point for me personally to be bearish. I can just wait out, and if we were to pull back. But again, we're in summer. We saw a big draw in oil for Wednesday. So I think we're going to have oil draws, not oil additions, which makes me think that we're going to move higher. TTF gas up to 2.5%. That looks good. To continue up, looks great. We've got natural gas in America, a little bit of selling pressure going on here. We do have inventory on the higher end compared to history, but Keep in mind, our demand is continuing to go up for power burn in the United States for natural gas. We've got our boy XOP. Yeah, you know me. We are also kind of coming into this corner. You can see the size of the moves here contracting. And then we'll probably resolve in here in a dead period and then start to work our way on up whenever that does break. OIH also doing a very similar thing. Big move lower, kind of an ABC correction there. Comes on up. Still some selling pressure in here. And maybe we'll work our way on up here. Why am I bullish? Because I think oil is going to go up. I think we're going to have inventory draws for commercial inventory. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. This does not look that strong. Big selling pressure today that could continue lower in the short term. We're getting some selling pressure there, and that does look like we could get some follow through here in the short term of that broken trend line. URA still looks good. It's holding on above support. URNM still looks good above support, and URNJ still holding on above support and everything. So the equities look pretty good. The only thing that looks a little bit weak is the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust in the short term. I'm going to skip that. That has no updates there. TAN ripping to the upside. I'm again surprised that TAN would be ripping with silver going up and interest rates remaining resilient, but maybe that's front running potentially lower interest rates, perhaps. Copper down a little bit. It's kind of breaking through that support trend line that we've got. Is there further downside on this? More consolidation sideways? Very well could be. Very well could be. We've had a monster move from here to here. So that's a big move, and some consolidation or pullback is most likely going to occur. COPX down a little bit today. It's still coming back to support 46-ish dollars. Again, this has had a pretty big run. It looks like it wants to do a little bit of a pullback consolidation for COPX. Lithium up about 1%. This looks good right here for a potential move higher. It's a bullish engulfing candlestick. We've got some resistance above us, some strong resistance at about 46 bucks. So let's see if we can move higher in lithium. REMX down a little bit as well. And these have been struggling with the interest rates going on up. But again, we'll wait. I got to wait and see and get some big buying pressure in here. We don't have buying pressure yet. We had a little bit here and here. So we got to turn this thing around for me to get bullish on it. S&P 500 down a little bit. Again, we've got these big bearish candlesticks. Makes me think that we could go lower in the short term. NASDAQ also lower today, down 1%. We do have support underneath us, roughly in the 16,500 level. Russell up 1%. Again, guys, we're at the top end against some resistance. I think we'll go lower before going higher. We could get some short-term selling pressure here. Another option is that we go sideways. We trade sideways like that for a long time. Well, longer time than what we've been doing. This kind of back and forth here in the short term, guys. Good support down here too. Real good support at 1700. Real good support. So I bet you we might tag 1700 again. KRE, S&P 500 regional banks, we were up 1.75%. It's holding on in support. There's a lot of support in that area. We've been living in that area for a while. Emerging markets pulling on back to support, perhaps doing a retest of the breakout. That is at 4150. XHB up a little bit, up 1.72%. And kind of just chopping sideways here in the short term. We had yields were lower, right? Yeah, yields were lower. So all these are going to be up. Like lithium will be up, rare earths. I'm surprised the S&P and NASDAQ aren't. Russell up, carry up. Emerging markets surprised that wasn't up. XHB up. MUA's up as well. This one's doing a retest. It doesn't look too bad down here. That's doing a retest. I like where MUA is located. Iron ore down a little bit. But again, I'm still bullish on iron ore. This to me looks like an accumulation cylinder going on. So I'm bullish on it on the long term. Nickel up, and that still looks like it wants to go higher. I think nickel looks good, definitely. We've got aluminum down 3 point something percent, bearish engulfing, so sideways to slightly lower in the short term. Could do something like this, like a flag pattern or something. Baltic Dry Index right at support, looks good to go on up, or at least get support, so sideways to higher. Looks like we've got a trend line that's developing here too, like it's putting in a big squeezing pattern. Um, Baltic and iron ore and coal are all similar. I think iron ore looks good, and I also think that coal looks good because we've broken out of this trend line. So I think coal's going to work its way on up. I think iron ore is going to work its way on up, and those are the two biggest factors for Baltic Dry Index. BTC, we were up today, or are up at least so far. Still looks bullish to me. We're sitting on top of a pattern with no real selling pressure here. Ethereum also getting some selling pressure, but I would remain bullish as there's no large selling pressure candlesticks yet that have developed to say that we are going to rip it to the downside yet. SMCI down a little bit, still looks bullish to me. We're sitting on top of trend line, big bullish breakout, and then kind of sideways action. NVIDIA, similar pattern. Looks like we might come back and do a retest. Little bit of selling pressure down 3.77%. We could do a retest back to the 950-ish level. That's what I've got for today, guys. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website. If you guys would like, we have a Discord. Been hanging out in the Discord, talking to people throughout the day. I'm not there the entire part of the day, but I'm there often, throughout the day. Usually in the mornings. I go on for 45 minutes to an hour at least. But yeah, that's all I've got for today. So we'll catch you later. This is Finding Value.